Hello, my friends. Today, Russian war correspondents are buzzing about Trump's plan to stop the war in Ukraine. Hey, you are Russian swines. Make peace with Ukraine fast, or you are in for it. I'm amazed by the straightforward elegance with which Trump's team intends to broker peace in Ukraine. Ukraine, make peace, and we'll give you a lot of weapons. Russia, make peace. If you don't, we'll give Ukraine a lot of weapons. Seriously, these folks seem to be crafted with an incredible simplicity. Yesterday, news broke out that Trump might attempt to end this war. If Putin doesn't agree, the US will provide Ukraine with so much weaponry that it could decimate Russia, thereby emphasizing the strength of the US. Naturally, the Russians are extremely unhappy about these statements and are now on edge. But what will they say if Trump supplies a significant amount of weaponry to ensure victory over Russia? So it won't just be artillery shells and aircraft. In short, it's clear that this fall, after the elections, a decision will be made. Either the war will end or an even greater hell that now will begin. So, what do you think about this? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Are you ready for the conflict to end? Because every day, Ukrainians are defending their homeland. Today, more and more videos of fallen soldiers are being published, and we all hope there will be fewer such videos. However, the war continues, and today Lavrov declared that they have no intention of agreeing to Ukraine's terms or even attending a second peace summit if they are invited.
Но если кто-то думает, что это означает, будто когда нас пригласят на второй сеанс, уже анонсированный вот этой вот конференцией, мы с радостью туда побежим. Мы готовы разговаривать, но готовы разговаривать на равноправной основе, а не на основе того, что нам подсовывают в качестве ультиматума. Ну, Зеленский, он же на каждом углу заявляет, и его сотрудники. Вот мы первую конференцию провели, сейчас перед второй мы консолидируем всех на общей позиции. Когда она будет уже общей, мы пригласим Россию и предъявим ей эту, значит, самую мирную позицию, как сказал Зеленский, которую она либо примет, либо мы заставим ее принять.
As you can see, the Kremlin is still trying to give the impression that they are in control and that everything is going according to their plan, despite missiles and drones already striking even within Russian territory. Meanwhile, Lavrov made it clear that even if there are negotiations, they will not cease fire along the front line. We have stated that we will always be ready for peace talks, but during these negotiations, we will not stop the special military operation. We have had such an experience before, and we were deceived, as happened in April 2022. Now, let's move on to the situation along the front line, starting with the Kharkiv direction. Here, the occupiers continue shelling with cap bombs and are attempting to reclaim the lost part of the village of Hlyboke. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are preventing them from advancing further, and it's reported that in the Belgorod region, the Ukrainian Armed Forces managed to destroy 2 Russian Panzer air defense systems. Clearly, more and more Russian equipment is being destroyed even on Russian territory. In Vovchansk, the battles continue relentlessly. The Russian occupiers are persistent in their attempts to capture the city, but it has become an almost impossible task for them. The Ukrainian Armed Forces have taken the initiative, and even Russian war correspondents openly admit that the Ukrainian Armed Forces have received new supplies of ammunition and artillery, giving them a significant advantage over the Russian army. Additionally, the attacks on the village of Tykhe continue, but here too the occupiers are facing difficulties. As can be seen, the Russian attacks are encountering a strong resistance. The Ukrainian forces are effectively neutralizing the occupiers. This is why we see that changes along the front line are not frequent. In the Kupiansk direction, the situation remains unchanged. The occupiers have stalled at Sinkivka and cannot fully capture the settlement, although part of it's already under their control. Meanwhile, the fighting continues in the area of Pishane, and the occupiers are trying to break through from Stepova Novoselivka towards the main road. The Ukrainian forces are effectively attempting to thwart their progress there. So far, there have been no confirmed changes in the front line over the past day. In the Svatove area, the Russian occupiers continue their attacks on Stelmachivka, also the village of Kopanki and Hrekivka. The situation is challenging with more than 10 assaults conducted in a single day. Despite these persistent efforts, the Russians haven't achieved any new success here. In the Kreminna direction, fighting continues around Makiyivka, Nevske, the village of Terny and Torske. Despite several consecutive days of broad front assaults, the Russians have been unable to push the Ukrainian forces back across the river. Ukrainian troops are successfully repelling the Russian forces, maintaining an unchanged front line. Meanwhile, in the forest near Kreminna, the occupiers are making concerted efforts to reclaim lost positions following a Ukrainian forces counterattack. Therefore, the fighting in this area is ongoing and shows no signs of abating. In the Siversk direction, fierce battles are ongoing for the second part of Belgorod. The Russians are attempting to break through to Verkhnyokamensky and improve their positions near Spirne, Vyimka, and beyond. According to Unconfirmed reports, the Ukrainian forces had to retreat from Rozdolivka. However, this information is not definitive, as the General Staff continues to report ongoing battles in this area with the possibility of regaining control, and we are still waiting for more concrete updates. In the direction of Chasiv Yar, the occupiers persist in their assaults on Kalynivka, pushing towards the Novy microdistrict and attempting to secure positions on the outskirts. Similarly, battles are raging for Ivanivska and Klishivka, with 8 assaults reported in a single day. Despite these continuous efforts, the Russians haven't achieved any significant success, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Toretsk direction, the occupiers continue to strike the town of Toretsk with cap bombs and conduct broad front assaults on Druzhba, Pivnichne, Pivdenne, New York, and Alexandropol. Despite the high level of activity after the capture of the village of Shumy, the Russians haven't achieved any new success, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Pokrovsk direction, intense battles are taking place near Vozdvizhenka and Novoalexandrivka, where the Ukrainian forces are trying to stabilize the situation. The Russians continue to conduct shelling and attempt assaults on Ukrainian forces' positions near the village. Battles are also ongoing for Yevgenivka, the village of Sokil, Novoselivka, Persha, and also from Umanske, where they are trying to expand their control over the fields. Southward, the fighting near Karlivka continues, but here, as before, all Russian groups are being repelled and they have been unable to take control of the settlement. In the Kurakhove direction. According to the statements from Slatov, the occupiers plan to completely capture Krasnohorivka by the end of this month. This would enable them to move further towards Kurakhove and possibly Kurakhivka. However, as of now, there have been no new successes in the city, and the northern part remains under the control of the Ukrainian forces. Similarly, attacks on Georgiivka, then Paraskovivka, and the village of Kostiantynivka are ongoing, but there are no significant changes in the situation. In the Vuhledar area, the occupiers have reduced their activity. Only a few assaults per day are recorded near Urozhaine, and there are no new attacks in other areas. Shelling continues at a minimal level. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are continuing their efforts to regain territory lost during the Ukrainian forces' counteroffensive. They are trying to advance through the fields towards Mala Tokmachka to encircle our troops. However, they haven't achieved any success in this area, and there have been no changes in the front line over the past day. And in the Kherson direction, the situation remains unchanged. There are periodic attacks in the area around the village of Krynke and Shalin of the right bank. And that's all from me. So please, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.